What's up, Waymakers? It's me, Mommy Suna.
Sometimes when I get nervous, I stick my fingers under my arms and I smell them like that.
And hey guys, we got some Jessie Lee updates today. So let me just say, if you want like the latest of the latest in-depth everything updates about Jessie Lee and her entire situation, definitely subscribe to Say Hello to DC and Aaron B's and Julie Joe. Honestly, there's only so much of Boss Lee that I can take, and especially I think because her cancer diagnosis and stuff just kind of really made me not want to talk about her as much, because it's kind of like a sad situation, and quite frankly it like affects my mental health talking about it. It's all just very sad. It's frustrating watching another human being get such a devastating diagnosis and then like treat it the way that she is. And every time I've talked about Jessie Lee, I've said this, but I'm gonna put it out here again, because there's always people who are like, every time any of us talk about her, it's like, just let her be. She has cancer. Oh my god. It's like, okay, yeah, she does. But you have to understand that, like, first and foremost, none of us wish death upon her. Those of us who cover her frequently anyway. Like, I've seen some comments of some of y'all. Guys, if you're gonna leave a comment like that, just, like, don't. Because I will delete it. All of us here, despite how much Jessie Lee Ward drives all of us absolutely crazy, how frustrating it is to watch her, none of us want to see her life cut so short in the way that it's kind of looking like it may be soon. All of us want to see her make a recovery, okay? Unfortunately, she continues to kind of just like talk shit about medical professionals, not take their advice. She has said, and I know she's gonna say in this live today, that she did decide against chemo because she's convinced that that will kill her instead of the cancer. Like, I mean, it's really a lot. So I guess trigger warning here, you know, if you have trauma related to cancer, this might be kind of difficult to watch, because she is giving us, you know, cancer updates. Since I last talked about Jessie Lee Ward, a lot of things have changed in her life. If you didn't know, she basically got hired on by Pruvit for a corporate position. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like high up. She's like the vice president of something. I'm not really sure. I know she's spending a lot of time in Germany. She's like living there part-time from what I understand. But in this live, I know she's not in Germany because she mentions she's somewhere else. She's just kind of all over the place right now. Also, I want to put this out there because there is a GoFundMe for this for anyone who feels the need to donate. But so we all know how Jessie Lee has been just talking up this new man in her life, Avi Ram, or Avi. She did recently finally share his face, which I don't know if that was his desire or if she just did it, but even in this live we're gonna be watching today, Avi doesn't show his face. He generally doesn't like to be on Jessie Lee's social media. She's always talking about this guy and how much she loves him, how in love with him she is. Well, it came out that Avi Ram actually is married with children.
Let me tell you a story about an extremely strong mother. This mother's religion is Judaism. This mother's been married for a while and came 15 years ago to the United States with her husband. 3 children, 2, 4, and 7. Her husband went to Texas for work. He continued to tell her that he's building a life for them in Texas. He then ghosts her, and she's wondering what the heck is going on. She found out through social media that her husband, who's ghosting her but is also saying at the same time he's working hard and building a life for them, is dating a huge public figure. The mother reaches out to this huge public figure and explains the situation. This public figure says, "Prove it to me that y'all aren't separated." So she sends the messages and proves it. Now the public figure decides that she doesn't care, and then makes it her life mission at that point to hurt the mother in every way possible, to make her life extremely hard. The public figure intentionally does lives, videos, posts talking about her boyfriend / the mom's husband, about how amazing he is and wonderful he is, and does everything really to emotionally abuse this mother. This public figure lies to people when they find out that her boyfriend is married and has 3 kids, saying that they are separated or whatever. The public figure and the boyfriend/husband do everything they can possible to make the mother's life as hard and painful as they can. The mother, since she is Jewish and the husband is also Jewish, they do a traditional divorce ceremony called a get. It's planned and everything's done and ready to go, and they get there. The one person who isn't there, the husband, he is extremely mad that she has filed for divorce and emotionally abuses her as well, talking about how he wants to destroy her and that he can. He sets her up in multiple ways to try to make her look like the bad person. He refuses the one thing that will set her free, which is that get ceremony. He doesn't pay child support. He leaves her with practically nothing. And this story is real. The public figure is Jessie Lee Ward, and her boyfriend, the husband of the mother, is Avi Ram. The wife/mother, very strong mother, who's going through this, has a GoFundMe that her friends and family set up for her to fight this battle because Avi Ram and Jessie Lee Ward are making it extremely difficult for her. The GoFundMe is legit, by the way. Jessie Lee Ward and Avi Ram are very mad that we're covering this and talking about it because they wanted it to all go away and be hidden.
It's really just a sad situation. Like, she and her children are being left in the dust by this man. So I will post the link to the GoFundMe in the description of this video if you'd like to reach out and help Avi Ram's soon-to-be ex-wife that he is just absolutely putting through hell. But anyway, so what we're watching today, actually, I was at my parents' house yesterday and I got this lovely text from my beautiful friend, Miss Erin Bees, and she said, "You need to cover the Jessie Lee live from yesterday." And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, if Erin has to personally text me to be like, you need to cover this, I'm like, all right, whatever you say. So I did actually, while I was kind of making breakfast and doing stuff this morning, I did listen to a bit of this, but I haven't watched all of it. But basically, Erin told me, and I can confirm that she's correct from what I've heard so far, she says some pretty wild stuff. Not just about her cancer, but about just like pseudoscience stuff. She starts talking to the haters, she's blocking people, like, it's a ride. Also, this live is 2.5 hours long, which obviously is obnoxious. If you don't know, Jessie Lee goes live to pack Pruvit orders, which, yeah, by the way, she's still a distributor for Pruvit, as well as a corporate employee now. It's pretty wild. That sounds like a conflict of interest there, but what do I know? But yeah, she goes live while she packs these orders for shipment. So I will be cutting a lot of this live up because a lot of times she's just talking about the product. She's talking about her accelerator courses and stuff like that. I am not going to include any of that stuff. I just really want to get to the meat of this. And really, ultimately, when it comes down to it, the reason I even cover her in the first place when it comes to this kind of stuff is because I really think it's dangerous what she's doing, in the sense of she has a huge audience, dude. A lot of impressionable people. And in my opinion, the medical pseudoscience misinformation stuff that she is spreading when it comes to her cancer journey, it's so dangerous. And listen, yeah, my body, my choice, whatever, that's fine. But Jessie Lee is publicizing all of it. The amount of influence she has over people, I think, is really dangerous. So that's why I cover her, because I'm like, you're spreading so much dangerous misinformation. And then she accuses us of being the ones spreading misinformation because we're not her and we're not in her body and blah, blah, blah. If she was anybody else who didn't have the platform that she has, I'd be like, whatever, like, if you want to decide not to do chemo and decide to do coffee enemas instead, then fine, that's on you. But the fact that she's broadcasting all of this wild stuff that she's doing is just so dangerous. All it takes is one person to also be diagnosed with cancer and be like, oh, I saw Boss Lee doing this thing instead of chemo, so I'm gonna go against what my doctor is telling me to do. Sorry, Griffin's being cray-cray. So I'm gonna go against what my doctor's telling me to do and just do what Jessie Lee did. And again, like, we all hope that she survives this and stuff, but the fact of the matter is if she's doing all this and she does survive, she's going to credit all of the holistic stuff that she did, all the coffee enemas, putting coffee up your butt. Literally, that's what she's doing. She gets like ozone IVs and stuff like that, which from what I've read have been considered to generally be a pretty dangerous thing. She does like the red light UV therapy or whatever. She's got one of those like $15,000 whatever they're called in her home. She's throwing the kitchen sink at it, which I understand. Like, if you were doing all of these things in conjunction with what your doctor recommends, then I'd be like, I mean, whatever, yeah, I mean, do what you can. If it helps, it helps. It's like, can't really get much worse, really. You have stage 4 cancer, like, might as well do all the things she's doing. But she's doing it in replacement of what medical professionals are telling her to do. There was actually a video a few weeks ago that really made me upset watching it because she was crying in a doctor's office. If I can find the video, I'll put it here.
I almost just don't even want to talk to doctors anymore because I'll be having like a great week. And then as soon as you talk to a doctor, it's like, do you know how serious this is? Like, no, I don't know. Are you kidding me? And you feel like you're doing literally every fucking thing possible. And then they basically try to tell you it's not enough.
She came out after posting this and basically being like, this is why I don't go to doctors anymore, because they're not telling me what I want to hear. And when it comes to recovery, especially from something as serious as stage 4 colon cancer, a doctor should not be telling you what you want to hear. A doctor should be telling you what's going to save your life. A doctor should be trying to save your life. And they are, but she doesn't want to do the things that they're recommending. She did have surgery too, though, by the way. Then you could be like, well, if she does survive, they literally took out, what was it? She said like 11 inches of her colon or something like that. Unless it was more, I don't remember. But oh my god, also now I'm remembering. Aaron and JJ did a live like 2 days ago that I was watching, and it was Jessie and Avi talking about their relationship basically and how happy and in love they are or whatever. They were like being interviewed on a podcast or something. And Jessie Lee kind of like slid in there that the cancer had spread to her trachea, which that was the first time any of us had ever heard her say that.
In February, I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic colon cancer. It had spread, or I have no idea. I think maybe I've already cured it. You know, who knows? But I feel very healthy. So anyhow, it had spread to my lymph nodes all the way up in my neck and trachea and stomach, which is why it was staged as 4.
I think there had been suspicions, I don't know if those were confirmed or not, that the cancer had spread to her lungs. As far as we know, the cancer is spreading. It's not getting better. It's only getting worse. I think that's all just kind of based on what Jessie Lee has said. But yeah, when we're talking about like how serious this is really what it all comes down to. It's very serious, and she is taking it seriously, but she's not taking it as seriously as all of us really believe she should. Good morning, Sparrow. Anyway, we have a lot to watch. I have a lot to sit through here. Before we press play, please make sure that you're leaving a like on this video. Oh, also, she's sped up to 1.25. If I speed her up anymore, I can't really understand her, but like, this is such a long video, I have to. Let's press play.
Let's get this thing started. Am I still a consultant and VP? I am. So I am still #1 in the company. Catch me if you can. But yeah, so what can I say? Are you guys getting married? Are you guys getting married? We'll get married eventually.
When it comes to that claim that she just made that she's #1 in the company, it might be #1 in sales. From what I understand, what I've been told, she's not even the top rank. She can't sit here and be like, I'm #1 in everything in the company, everything about Pruvit, I'm just #1 in. And it's like, but you're not, though.
Oh, and like announcements, I guess. It's not really that big of an announcement to you guys. I'm really listening to my body with this whole cancer thing. If you don't know, I'm currently healing from a diagnosis of stage 4 colon cancer. And I did the keto thing legit for 2.5, 3 weeks, and I just did not feel good. I felt like my digestion slowed way down. I felt like something was wrong all the time. My stomach hurt. I'm like, this is not good. And so after getting out of the hospital, I was in the ER on Saturday. For those of you who don't know, last Saturday, so a week ago, I just made a decision. I really just need to listen to my body, and I'm back to vegan. So back to vegan, back to my juice. I already feel better. It's been like a couple of days. So
it's interesting to me to hear her say this stuff because, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think that eating an abundance of meat, which is generally what you kind of end up doing when you're keto, because you have to cut out all the carbs. You kind of just end up eating a lot more meat, I guess. Wouldn't that be worse for colon cancer? Like, it would be worse for your digestive system. I mean, you can do keto without eating meat, but it's a lot harder. When people are on those like carnivore diets, you know, like all meat diets, I'm pretty sure that there is an increased chance of colon cancers and digestive tract issues and stuff like that. So did your doctor tell you to go keto? Because like, what kind of doctor would tell you that when you have colon cancer? I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm missing here. The keto flu is a thing. When you start eating keto, you do like get sick and you have to like get over a hump, you know. But to me, it just doesn't seem like a smart idea to be like, I have stage 4 colon cancer, time to freaking eat a lot more meat. Especially going because she was like strictly juicing for a while. She was doing like juice cleanses and stuff. To go from that, like eating no meat at all, to like suddenly being keto, and I would assume she'd be eating some meat, like that's gonna make you feel bad too.
It seemed like it tanked your energy. Thank you for saying that, Jessie Rice Greenlow. Okay, I felt like I was on my lives with you guys, like having to talk to you, like, hey guys, how are you? Like, get it together, Jessie Lee. And just a couple of days of no more animal products at all. And then got my juice back. This is beets, carrots, ginger, turmeric, my apple. What else did I put in here? I don't even know. Ooh, citrus. There's lime in there. I love it. I already feel better. I'm glowing. Thank you. Also got 300 billion stem cells yesterday. So in my hand over here, so you see my little bruise, if anyone's wondering what my wound is from. My wound is from stem cells, which is pretty cool. It's 300 billion exosomes. Umbilical exosomes, which is a great reason to, hey, let me tell you something. So is anyone pregnant? Any like knocked up peeps up on here? You got a baby in the belly up on here. Anyone? No one's pregnant? Okay, that's okay, I'm still gonna tell you. So if anyone is pregnant, or if anyone you know is pregnant, here's the deal, okay? When your baby is born, you need to do delayed cord clamping. And delayed cord clamping is not 5 minutes. It's not even 15 minutes. It's literally an hour post-birth. That is when the umbilical cord can be clamped and cut. And if you don't know why, it's because all of the stuff in there, all of the stem cells in there, all of the blood inside of there is intended to be for your newborn child, okay? So when someone's like, clamp it, we gotta clamp it. No, you don't. It literally should be completely white. It should not be pulsing at all. It should be done, okay? So you tell your friends, because otherwise what happens in the hospitals, they sell them. If you don't know, this is not a conspiracy theory. The reason they're clamping so quickly is because they're selling them. And I just bought a whole bunch, all right? I bought a whole bunch to help with cancer, okay? So and a lot of people do it to look younger. They're injecting it in their head. They're injecting it in their scalps or hair. Men are doing that. They're doing stem cell facials. Foreskins too, by the way. If you're cutting off your son's foreskin, you might want to stop that too. That also gets sold and turned into face cream. I'm not being like creepy, by the way. This is a fact. You guys can look it up. So I'm all about just leave your children whole. Let them have all their stem cells. Let them have all their blood and goodies and whatever.
There's so much here. So I did get to this point when I was watching this morning, and I called my mom because my mom has been working for OBGYNs since I was born, basically. She's been in the industry. She's not a doctor or even a nurse. She does like scheduling and stuff for surgeries, and she does stuff with like reports, like she can read medical reports and stuff like that. Like I don't really know what exactly her job entails. I just know that she schedules stuff and is always in communication with doctors and hospitals and stuff, and she's been doing that for an OBGYN office for many moons. And while I admit that she doesn't have all the answers because she's not a doctor, I think she had some valuable insight on this. And there's so many points to touch on. So first of all, Jessie Lee has no kids. She's never given birth. And I don't want to be like, oh, well, if you've never given birth, then you have no room to speak. It's like, no, I mean, listen, I mean, facts are facts, you know? However, she's right in the sense that from what I could find, a hospital in the UK, this is the, like, literally the only instance I could find. I was looking this up before I ended up talking to my mom, but the only instance I could find where this was documented that it was happening was at a hospital in the UK in like 2008 or something like that, where the hospital was literally selling umbilical cords, placentas, all the things to like cosmetic companies and stuff like that, which is really messed up. Like, honestly, super fucked up, unethical. And not to mention, in the United States at least, that's illegal. In a lot of countries, that's illegal because the placenta is considered an organ. Like, hospitals can't just sell an organ to someone for a profit. Like, that's black market shit. Like, you can't do that. That's illegal. And as a matter of fact, when it comes to, like, because obviously I think we all know at this point, right, that some people, when they give birth, they opt to keep their placenta. Many of them will eat the placenta. Some people will, like, make it into jewelry or artwork or something. Some people will bury it. They'll, like, plant it with a tree or something like that. But most of these, like, crunchy mamas think that you should eat it. So there's, like, straight up recipe books about how to eat your own placenta. It's pretty wild. But what I learned today is that in order to even do that, for the most part, like, you have to go through steps well into, like, your pregnancy. You can't just, like, show up at the hospital and be like, oh, by the way, I'd like to take my placenta with me, please. You have to have it, like, court ordered to be allowed to do that, because otherwise it's considered transporting a human organ, which you can't do. So, like, a lot of preparation goes into it. If you're going to be a crunchy mama who wants to eat her placenta, it's not just a show up, put your placenta in a bag and go home, put it in your fridge, you know, it's not like that. And if it is like that in any facilities, then they're probably doing other shit wrong too, honestly, and I wouldn't trust them. But anyway, so I was picking my mom's brain about this, and she's just like, no, they can't do that, that's illegal. I'm like, that's what I thought. Okay, so when I had both of my kids, I didn't even see either of my placentas. I didn't ask to, I didn't think about it. Like, that's not a thing that you're, like, for the most part, immediately thinking about right after you give birth. Like, you're usually worried about, how much does my baby weigh? What time was it born? How's the baby doing? Oh, he's crying, good. Like, oh, I just stabbed myself in the eyeball. You know, things like that. There's a lot going on. Sometimes you're, like, in the middle of being, like, stitched up because of tears and stuff. That's a thing that happens. TMI, I know, I'm sorry, but it's real. I had a pretty bad tear with Sparrow and a very minor one with Griffin. They'll be stitching you up, or they'll be, you know, they're weighing your baby, taking the vitals. Unless it's, like, part of your birth plan and it's something that is just so important to you that you, like, need to see the placenta and you need to take it home with you and you need to do your own evaluation or whatever you think it is you're doing. Unless you're one of those people, you're probably not even going to think twice about it. So, from the research I did and from what my mom told me about what they do in hospitals, she said generally after they, I guess, harvest the placenta, if you will, and the umbilical cord and all that, all the remains. That's kind of a weird way to put it, huh? The remains. But hospitals generally will send them to pathology to be examined. They need to make sure that the placenta came out whole, that it didn't tear, and that there's not anything left inside your womb, because if you leave part of your placenta in the womb, it can cause infection and very serious health issues. So it's important that someone can professionally look at a placenta and go, okay, this thing is whole. They'll look for abnormalities, and very rarely, it is my understanding that they will, like, send it for further testing if they find some kind of abnormality, only because, like, if there's, you know, cancer cells or something, I don't know, but, like, some kind of other issue, they have to make sure that, like, the baby doesn't also have those dangerous cells or whatever, but that's a kind of rare thing. And then after they observe it and whatever, I'm told, and I've found, most hospitals and even some people who, you know, work in hospitals have said 99.9% of the time they're placed in a biohazard bag and disposed of. So when I was talking to my mom, because obviously stem cells are very useful in science and medical situations, there are so many uses for stem cells. To me, I'm like, well, it seems really wasteful to just, like, throw them away if it can help so many people. But from an ethical standpoint, this is literally an organ that has been taken from your body. For example, if you have to have a kidney removed or something, you don't get to take that home with you, but a hospital also isn't, like, selling that, you know? Like, it to me, it seems like a conspiracy theory, but you can't really say it's a conspiracy theory because there's at least one documented instance of it happening in the UK. Does it happen? Probably. Organs are gonna find their way onto the black market. We know that they do. But I was also reading that there are companies that, I think it's called, like, birth tissue recovery or something like that, where obviously while the mother is still pregnant, you can essentially arrange for all of it to be donated to science. They can create, like, medical products with it or whatever. And that's probably what she's talking about, like, because you would consider, like, going to a plastic surgeon or something, like, if there's certain products that contain stem cells or something, like, that would still be a medical product even though it's cosmetic. That must be what she's talking about. But also it does go to scientific research and stuff. But if you donate everything that's that's left over after you have your baby in your arms, then they can take that placenta and do whatever they want with it. But you have to sign, those are your rights, you know, you have to sign your rights away, essentially, to do that. To be like, I have no use for my placenta, my umbilical cord, but doctors and scientists do. Instead of wasting all those stem cells, I'll just donate it in the hopes that it'll help somebody. And to me, I'm like, well, when I had my kids, like, no one ever even asked me if I wanted to donate it. Like, that was not a topic of conversation. So I think that's something you have to arrange while you're pregnant. I just think she's leaving a lot out here, and this is essentially just fear-mongering. I'm sure it happens, but it's a very rare occurrence, and like, it again, it's illegal. You can't sell human organs, dude. If you are able to get your placenta after going through all the hoops and stuff that you have to jump through to be able to take it home with you, you still don't have the right to sell it. Even though it's your placenta, you can't sell a human organ, dude. You just can't do it. And I was also reading that selling a placenta on the black market, like, they can go for upwards of $50,000, which is a lot of money, and a lot of people would probably try to do it. But to me, I'm like, because of how scarce of a resource that is, it must be like pretty damn illegal. And if you get caught doing that, like, bye. What are they gonna do? Give you a slap on the wrist? I don't think so. You can't sell human organs. Foreskin is another thing I asked my mom about, because my grandma, at one point, I think she broke her ankle or her leg or something like that, and then like it wasn't healing right, so they literally used like foreskin on the wound to help the wound heal because of the stem cells and stuff in there. So I was asking my mom, like, well, they have to get the stem cells from somewhere, and like, full disclosure, TMI, I guess, but like, we didn't get my son circumcised because I believe, personally, in my opinion, no shade to you if you got your kids circumcised, I just feel like it is genital mutilation. It's unnecessary. There's so many reasons why I just felt like I didn't want to do that. My sister was pressured into doing it to her kids, which makes me really sad because my whole family is quite religious, and even though it makes no sense because really it's a Jewish thing, we're not Jewish. Christians adopted it. The New Testament doesn't say that you have to do that shit, but like, it's an Old Testament thing, so it's like a Jewish thing. And I think if you practice Islam, I think that's a religious thing too, but we didn't have any of that, so I didn't want to do it. And again, no shade to people who have. I haven't been in a situation where anyone had to like ask me, do you want to donate your son's foreskin or whatever? Like, let me know in the comments if you have any experience with that, I guess. But yeah, it is a good point. I'm like, so where did they get foreskin to put on my grandma's penis leg? Who found that foreskin? Where did they get it from? But I wonder if maybe like foreskin is another thing that you can arrange to have donated through one of those companies who takes after birth donations, you know? As far as the cord clamping thing goes, I do remember that they like let it pulse, you know, because when it comes out it still pulses, it like pumps blood or whatever, it's still pumping, but you like wait until it's done pulsing, really. And like, my understanding was it only took like a minute or two to stop pulsing like that, and then after that they clamp it and they clip it or whatever. If you do the delayed cord clamping, it can cause jaundice, which even then, like, it wasn't delayed for Sparrow, but she still had jaundice, so like, it means that your liver was producing too much of a certain cell and you were turning yellow. So they had to put you under lights as a baby. Oh. You had to wear little baby sunglasses and sit under lights for like 24 hours. Oh. There's that, and then I think there are like 2 other main risks of doing it. So like, there are reasons why they do it, and Jessie Lee is trying to make it sound like, oh, they do it because like they want all the blood for themselves so they can go sell it and make money. And it's like, that's illegal. Even if like one person was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna sell all this cord blood for myself. There are so many other people who would have to be in on that. Your ass is gonna get reported if you get caught doing that. Like, I think it's generally like an ethical thing that like people just generally know you shouldn't do that. Good luck trying to do it illegally, you know? Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there because I think it's ridiculous that she's just going off like this. Like, the fear-mongering is wild. And again, it's kind of like another situation of her kind of spreading medical misinformation in a way. That's just my understanding of it. Just more of her potentially harming people with reading one article about one hospital in the UK who got caught doing it one time. And it's like, okay, calm down. Stop fear-mongering people. Was that wrong of that hospital to do? Yeah, it's pretty shitty. I don't think that what she's saying happens is a thing that like all the hospitals are in on it, you know? Like, I don't think that's a thing.
We're in a conversation about stem cells, but thank you for your order. Appreciate that. And yeah, so if you don't know about that, this is all true. So tell all your pregnant friends, okay? Tell all your pregnant friends to let that cord pop, 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 pop. But anyway, I've got 300 billion stem cells in me, so maybe that's why I look so good. I have this little, like, what is going on here? My hair's so wavy. I didn't know I had wavy hair. All right, we really gotta pack some ketones, don't we? All right, so I will ask Aviram what his favorite Israeli food is when he comes back. He took a phone call with his beloved babies. Advocate hard. Your doctor wouldn't wait. Oh yeah, you gotta basically punch your doctor in the throat. I'm just kidding. This is how Jessie Lee doesn't let doctors get started. I'm very big on midwives, though. Very big on midwives and doulas. So big fan, big fan. I know I'm right. I do feel great.
Please don't assault your doctors. Thank you.
Why did I do keto? My doctor in Germany actually was the one who said, I need you to go keto. It will help with cancer, making it smaller, blah, 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 blah. I felt like crap.
Okay, so her doctor told her to do the keto thing. And again, like, I'm not a professional here, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But to me, I'm like, keto is supposed to cure cancer? I don't know about that. That doesn't sound right.
Like some Hollywood stuff is going on, but if it works, good for you. Oh, like the adrenochrome. So that's different though. Don't the like celebrities, isn't the conspiracy there that they like drink blood of tortured children? That's what I heard. I didn't drink anybody's blood. I'm not gonna ever drink anybody's blood. I'm not interested in drinking people's blood.
That is absolutely a conspiracy theory, Jessie, yes.
Certainly I'm all about saving the children and none of that stuff. Natural home, oh, my natural home birthers up in these streets. So what's the update on the cancer? Well, first of all, follow me on TikTok. That's where I do my updates for cancer stuff. Mossy darling. But also, I'm very excited. I'm very popular on YouTube and not because of me, okay? Like my YouTube channel is kind of poor showing, I would say. There's some stuff on YouTube of mine, but like, I have almost 18,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I don't think I could take credit for all of them. So, with that said, I'm very excited because 2 days ago is when I filmed my first video where I'm taking you guys on the entire cancer journey. So, I'm going to do like 20 to 30 minute like series and stuff. And I have a question. Is anyone else like this? I take photos and screenshots of everything. Stuff that doesn't even make sense. I have photos of. So it's impossible to lie to me or lie about people in my life or lie about situations. And people are like, why does she always take people to court? I don't take everyone to court. But if I take you to court, you're very screwed because I have receipts of everything. And even if we're on a phone call, I recorded it, hoping that at some point it will be admissible in court if I need it. I don't know why.
That's dangerous because a lot of, at least states, I'm sure countries have their own different like laws about that too, but there are a lot of states where like you have to have both parties' permission to record it. And if you don't, if you record someone without having their permission in a two-party consent state, it's not admissible in court. And actually, I think at that point, I think it's a crime, right? Jessie, you can't be doing that. Listen, there are some states that are just one-party consent, so she can do that, but then other situations you can't. The other thing is, too, that I think is really funny that she says, because, for example, like, if you guys remember back in the days where we were covering her Colombia trip, I'll post links to those videos in the description, too. I covered it pretty thoroughly. Long story short, basically what happened is Jessie Lee took a group of, like, a small handful of her top distributors and her team to Colombia, South America, on a trip, and then they went on this hike, and she told everybody, God, it's been so long since I looked into this, but she basically told everyone it would only be a few hours, made people believe that, like, they would only be hiking for a little bit or whatever. It ended up being, like, a 15-mile or 15-hour hike. I don't remember what it was, but it was, like, 90 degrees. People were passing out. One lady had diabetes. Like, she didn't have her insulin or something, or, like, you know, I don't know. There was, like, all this stuff, but it was basically, like, she lied to them. So it was essentially kidnapping. She basically, like, kidnapped her entire team, brought them to Colombia, made them, like, trek through the fucking mountains and shit, made them jump off of a boat into the ocean in the middle of the night, like, made them sleep on the beach. Then she even herself said, ha ha ha, he tee hee ha ha. So dangerous because there's, you know, human trafficking issues out in Colombia. Ha ha ha. Like, she essentially put her entire team in pretty serious danger. So when we all started covering it, she was just like, no, you guys are lying. You guys are making stuff up, blah, 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 blah. But you said it, though. Like, they were your words. And then she kind of tried to backtrack. She did another live where she was talking about it and basically being like, no, everyone was safe and everyone knew all these things and blah, 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 blah. Everyone's fine and whatever. And it's like, that's not what you said. And then what she did is she went and deleted her original live where she was talking about it. I guess essentially thinking that, like, none of us were going to be able to refer back to it if she deleted it. It's like, no, Jessie, like, we all, like, have it recorded, but okay. She lies all the time. So for her to be like, oh, no, I don't lie, I have screenshots of everything, it's like, but we've, like, caught you lying, you know? We've caught you manipulating the truth and what have you. It's just a very interesting hill that she's planting herself on. She's just like, yeah, no, I'm not a liar, and I can back up everything I say. It's like, okay, but you also delete evidence of when you're not telling the truth, so.
Like, I feel like maybe I was a detective in a past life or something. Is anyone else with me? It's ridiculous. I screenshot everything. I walk into all the time. I'm taking pictures like a crazy person. I don't know why. So I'm excited because the YouTube, basically documentary, the YouTube documentary basically is going to be so easy to do for me because I have photos from everything. I took a photo when I walked in at 6 a.m. for the colonoscopy. I took 2 photos with the selfies. One when I'm about to get it done, one where I have the little pin things on my body. I have photos of both of them. The amount of photos I have of my surgery, I thought to take videos to walk into the bathroom right before surgery and be like, this is the last time my stomach's gonna look like this. I do a whole, whatever. I talk about my belly button. I show exactly where the surgery's gonna be. I have screenshots with me arguing with my first doctor. I have everything. I have literally every single little thing. I have the first person I texted that I had cancer because I had just flown on his private jet was my CEO. I have that screenshot. Why? I don't know. Probably because I was like, he's like, how was the phone call? Because the reason I stopped in Kentucky, this is whatever. The reason I stopped in Kentucky was because I had to drop him off on the jet before I flew the jet back to Texas. So he was like, hey, how was the call you were on? I was like, the call was not good. I have cancer, right? He's like, what the it's just, I have so much, I have everything documented. So yes, writing the book will be very easy, but also, I sent, I think 85 photos just leading up to diagnosis to the video editor because he's going to do all the superimposing whatever. I just do it naturally. So today I can show you the entire day. I take my phone out really fast. Everything I do is just I'm like, oh yeah. I don't know. Whoopsies. I literally just go, what's that text message say? Hold on a second. Am I in Denver? No. Okay. I'll screenshot. I might even just randomly screenshot that. Who wants to know if I'm in Denver? I don't even understand it. So you guys are like this too. So yeah, super difficult to lie to me. Super difficult to lie about me. And I pay attention to everything.
Yeah, but I think she documents things and will use them if she knows that she can have the upper hand in it, I guess. To me, that's kind of obsessive and excessive, I guess, that she takes that many screenshots and that many pictures of stuff. I don't know that I would trust being anywhere near Jessie Lee. We all know that she's a manipulative person. She can find a way to manipulate any narrative she wants to. I wouldn't want to be close to a person like that.
Have I looked into fasting? Yes, I'm actually. So I'm going to be doing stuff. So my doctor actually said I should look into treatment in some treatments in Mexico that'll be easier to travel to. Obviously, he has a partner in Mexico who can do a bunch of the similar treatments, not all the same ones, but some similar treatments, and then also some stuff in Malibu I actually paid for today. So I'm very excited for that too. So I actually get to stay on this time zone a bit more, which will be really cool. And I'm excited about that. However, proof is in the photos, right? It's crazy. Okay, just keep. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But it's I guess it drives me crazy when people are like, I have the proof. I'm like when it's somebody talking about me, and I just want to be no, but really, I have the truth. I could bury anybody who's talking badly about me, but I just make a decision to say, hey, is it worth it or not?
Oh, so is that why you ended up deleting that first live about Colombia? Oh, it's just because you made the decision not to call yourself out and prove your own words wrong? Jessie Lee, what are you talking about? What is her example of proof anyway? Because she just got done telling us that hospitals will sell off our organs and shit like that, when it's what proof do you have of that? One article? Basically I'm untouchable. Everything I say is the truth. And it's no, but what you just did was fear-mongering and not entirely true. Really, she's a scary person when you put all of this into perspective. When you have someone who is so sure of themselves and so sure that everything they say and do is the truth, is the right thing, they're untouchable, they can't make a mistake, they can't tell a lie, that's a dangerous person. That's kind of narcissistic behavior. Just kind of believing that you're right about everything and no one else knows what they're talking about. It bothers me.
Is it really worth the argument? Is it worth the lawsuit? Is it worth the drama? If I'm in the middle of an argument with someone, it's what are you talking about? So anyway, back to the fasting thing. After I go to I think I'm gonna go to Malibu maybe in 10 days or something like that for a treatment. That's what my German doctor wants me to do. And I'm excited about that too. And I'll tell you about that, Courtney, because I haven't told you about that yet. But anyway, after that, I am considering an extended fast, an extended dry fast. So I dry fasted one day, was really easy. Really easy, honestly. So I was gonna do 3 days this week. I'm not opposed to it yet. I want to see maybe a 3-day dry fast, just see how it goes. And then I really want to do a 12-day. If I do 12-day dry fasting, which makes me a little nervous, I will do it in Ireland more than likely. And in Ireland, the climate is perfect for it. So I'm friends with someone who's done 3 21-day dry fasts.
So a dry fast, and I think she's going to go into it here in a second, but basically a dry fast means no food and no water. And guess what? While the human body, I believe, can live like weeks without food, without water, we're talking like 3 to 4 days. First of all, how is that supposed to help you at all? Because what happens is when your body is malnourished, when your body runs out of things to sustain itself, it starts eating your organs and stuff. And I think what she's thinking is, oh, it's gonna eat the organs. No, it's gonna eat the cancer first and then it'll eat the organ. I don't think that's how it works. And that seems really dangerous. Now, again, like I was saying before, like, yeah, throw the kitchen sink at it, but like at a certain point, you literally cannot survive without drinking fluid. Hi, I just want to add here that dry fasting isn't necessarily like going all day, every day without drinking any water. It seems to be like in windows, like a 12-hour window or something like that. So it's like 12 hours on drinking fluid and then 12 hours off. And you can do that for probably a bunch of days, like she said that guy, her friend or whatever, does. So it's not like she would be completely cutting out water 100% for many, many days straight. So I just want to make that clear. I did kind of have that misunderstood while I was filming this. But regardless, WebMD says that the biggest risk of dry fasting is dehydration, which can turn into complications like seizures and things like that. You lose electrolytes. And I hope she doesn't go through with this, but I also hope that she doesn't do this so long term that she does end up with like severe dehydration. I had to turn on my air conditioning. It's gonna be like 115 or something today. It is 11 o'clock in the morning and already 100 degrees out, so it's going to get hot here. It already is hot, and I'm upstairs. Heat rises. My portable AC unit's got to be on, or else I will shrivel up like a raisin. So if you can hear it in the background, which according to my audio levels you can a little bit, I do apologize. Here, I'll turn my mic down and move it closer to my face. How about that?
By Trevor, I tagged him in something the other day, but yeah, Trevor is a badass, and at any rate, so he's kind of walking through a lot of it. He's like, make sure you're taking your iodine leading up to it. You need to make sure that you're super hydrated. It can be dangerous if you're not. He talked about all the warning signs, and I also picked Ireland partially also because of English. So partially because of English. So dry fasting is no water and no food for as long as you can go. So there's that. So pretty exciting stuff. Yeah, I love it.
For as long as you can go, I mean, listen, like what we were reading just said that like your brain can start shutting down. So like maybe once you get to the point where you need to drink water again to sustain your life, like your brain might already be like, no, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I'm breaking. It's fine. It's just dangerous. It's dangerous all around. I'm not a medical professional, but if anyone here is considering doing a dry fast, talk to your doctor. Don't listen to me, but also just don't do it.
So I've never done it before except for that one day, and it was, like I said, super easy. So we'll see. We will see. All right. Yes, dry. Like literally, you're sitting there like. But the concept, of course, is that all of the stuff in your body, when there's nothing left for your body to do, it eats everything.
It eats everything. Your organs. She's like, it eats the cancer. No, it eats your organs, dude. You need your organs to survive. When you have nothing left, your body starts to attack your muscles and then your organs. So come on.
If you don't know, I've been diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. So and it's crazy. Like the decision to not do chemotherapy was because I was told I would have zero quality of life, perhaps living 2.5 years, and they told me I'd be dead by October. And I feel like I am thriving, and I took this damn PICC line out, and where's the coughing, baby?
She thinks that having the PICC line in her arm was causing her to have a cough. She did have a cough recently, like a few weeks ago. And I know there was some speculation because I think she had said the cancer spread to her lungs. And I know for sure she said it spread to her trachea. So there was speculation that she's coughing because like her lungs are now cancerous. You know, we've all seen Breaking Bad, right? Walter White had lung cancer and he was always coughing up a lung, man. I understand that that's a TV show. I'm kind of making a joke, but not really. Does she sound fine now? Yeah, maybe she just had a cold or something. I don't know. Like, she thinks that it was the PICC line causing that? I don't think so. Why is that more of an explanation for your cough going away than like, oh, I just had a cold? As far as chemotherapy goes, like, yeah, from what I understand, there are a lot of people who, when they're on it, it's like there really isn't much of a quality of life. You're sleeping a lot, you're throwing up a lot, and it sucks. But like, it does substantially increase the possibility of you surviving. We'll get into that though, because she talks about that here too, and it's not fun.
No food, no water, no nothing. No nothing. I like this comment. I would try anything to live. That's how I am too. Y'all are my people.
Anything except chemo, right? Oh my god. Does she not hear herself? Does she not hear how ridiculous that sounds? I would try anything to live, except for chemo. I would do anything to live, but I won't do that. Like, that's what I'm hearing, dude. All right, you and Meatloaf, I say God rest his soul, but he wasn't that great of a guy either. You guys were made for each other, like, damn.
So I'm gonna read this comment. It's gonna trigger some people, so here's like a trigger warning. The amount of comments that I've seen like this is also part of the reason why I made the decision.
If Jessie Lee Ward has to give you a trigger warning, it's probably a serious one. I don't remember what it is she says here, but I think it's about chemo. So again, if you're here and cancer talk triggers you, Jessie Lee herself said that this is probably going to trigger people. So click off if that's something you don't want to hear about.
My dad and little brother passed from colon cancer and the chemotherapy killed them. I hear comments like that constantly. I've also done a ton of research, a ton of research. It basically increases life expectancy by about 3%, and it is not in order to have a cure. There is no cure according to traditional oncologists. So
yeah, no, chemotherapy is not a cure. It's a treatment to extend your life. Yeah, I think we all understand that, like, doctors don't have a cure for cancer. Like, I think we all know that, right? Here, I'm gonna Google it right now. But the numbers I was hearing before was that, like, at stage 4, which is what she's at now, and it just keeps progressively getting worse. Like, at a certain point, it's going to be too late for her to take chemo, which is also scary. See, maybe she's saving that as her last-ditch effort, but it's going to be too late at a certain point. I think we all understand that chemo essentially is, like, sort of a poison. Doesn't it kill all of a certain cell in your body? So, like, even the good ones, but, like, part of that is also the bad ones. So, like, the idea is that you'll eventually regenerate those good ones without the cancer cells coming back if the chemotherapy is successful. Anyway, chemotherapy does not cure metastatic colorectal cancer, but it can improve symptoms and prolong life. Sometimes both chemotherapy and surgery are recommended, which she already had the surgery. Chemo is often given for a total of 3 to 6 months. She said that it could extend her life for up to 2.5 years, and it's like, okay, so maybe you wouldn't have, like, a good quality of life for 3 to 6 months or whatever, but then, like, you would still have 2 years after that to live, I guess, instead of dying by October, which is what she just said. She said that she was given a life expectancy that she'd be gone by October, which is really scary. And also, I think I've heard someone else say that another doctor gave her until Christmas or something like that. Doctors have told her that she will not make it to 2024. Like, more than one doctor has told her this. And, like, I'm not saying this to just, like, rub it in her face or anything. I'm just, like, factually, that's what these doctors are estimating. They're not giving her a long time. According to cancercenter.com, stage 4 cancer is a serious disease that requires immediate expert care. Patients may live for years following treatment of stage 4 cancer. Now, this says the 5-year relative survival rate for stage 4 colon cancer that has spread to other parts of the body is about 14%. That's what she's been given right now. I do remember seeing a statistic of like 30% or something, which would double her chances of survival, but I can't find it. And now I'm wondering if maybe, because like my search terms, maybe they were different and we're talking about a different stage of cancer or something like that. But everything I'm seeing is saying 15% or less, which is really scary. And basically everything I just read was pretty much saying that by the time it's stage 4, chemotherapy can only do so much. And like, you're usually only a candidate for surgery if it hasn't spread to the liver, which I think, you know, when she had that diagnosis months ago, when she originally had it, she got surgery pretty much right away. And from what we know, it still spread. So like, I'm not a doctor, but you know, I feel like maybe before all this happened, before things started spreading, if she had done chemo then, like she would have had a higher chance of survival. But if, like she said, if it has moved to her trachea and her lungs and stuff, like, oh my God, I'm just really sad for her. Like, I'm kind of like putting myself in her situation. Like, just Googling all that shit just made me think like, this is what people do when they get diagnosed. They're just like, oh, I guess find out what my life expectancy is, like Google everything I can. And like, the hopelessness is really heartbreaking. And that whole Google search that I just did, and like, I obviously cut it out, but it took like maybe like 10 minutes or so. I was just reading a bunch of stuff. It seems really hopeless for her, and that's like really sad. My empath is coming out. Like, I can't even fathom how scared she must be. It's nice to like see her have some hope and stuff, but I'm like, after everything I read, like, I'm really thinking, like, oh, I think she actually might be right about, like, not doing chemo now, because, like, I think it's too late, in my personal non-medical opinion. And that's rough. If you guys didn't know, the reason she even found out she had stage 4 cancer in the first place is because Tony Robbins went off and said, basically, everyone needs to go book themselves a full body scan, like, just to make sure that everything in your body is healthy. And so Jessie Lee Ward was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And then they found the cancer. Like, she had no symptoms, and that's what I was reading too. And a lot of you guys even told me in comments too that, like, stage 4 colon cancer, even, like, just colon cancer in general, like, it can go undetected. And that's clearly what happened with her. She found it so late, and that's so heartbreaking. At least she, like, had some time to try to beat it in the way that she's trying to beat it, but, like, fuck, man. She would still be going on doing her regular Jessie Lee stuff like normal if she hadn't had that scan. And it would have been like a sudden death kind of thing, and none of us would have known. Like, she wouldn't have known. She wouldn't have even had the chance to try to fight it or anything like that. Personally, in my opinion, I think that right now she's doing everything she can because she just is trying to live. But, like, if the doctors are telling you that chemotherapy can lengthen your life and you're willing to do anything to live, wouldn't you do it? Yeah, I'm just really sad listening to her talk like this. And I don't like Jessie Lee as a person, but, like, from a human to human, like, of course I wouldn't wish this on anybody. I can't imagine how scared she is, and I hope that she's one of the lucky ones, I guess, you know? That's really all I can say at this point. I hope she's one of the lucky ones that makes it longer than everyone else. And the reason I think she even, like, looks energetic and, like, seems to be doing okay is because she's not getting chemotherapy, because if that were the case, like, you generally get pretty drained of energy. But I think there's just, like, a stigma of cancer patients that we see where, like, you're just expecting them to be sick all the time and in a bed and just, like, sleeping and just having no quality of life. And I think that's probably because of chemotherapy in general, because, like, that's kind of where you end up going. That's the route most people end up taking. Man, I don't know, because, like, that full body scan that she got, I think she said it was like $2,000 or $3,000 or something like that. And it's like, that's not something that, like, everyone can just, like, fork up money for. But it's scary to think that you could do that and find stage 4 fucking cancer. I don't know. I had a kidney stone right after I had Sparrow, and I didn't know it was a kidney stone. I thought it was dying, and they did, like, a CT scan on me and found the kidney stone. That's how I know it was a kidney stone. But I feel like if there was something there, I don't know, 7 years is long enough for other shit to form, but, like, they didn't see anything weird then, so I don't know. Life is pretty shitty sometimes, and it's really unfair. And despite how much, you know, none of us can stand Jessie Lee Ward as a person, and we don't like the way she makes her money, we don't like the way she treats people, she's still a human, and this kind of shit is fucking heartbreaking. Anyway, I'll press play here.
You do whatever you want, please, dear God. Follow your own path. Do whatever you want to do. Please, 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 please. I'm not giving you any kind of medical advice or anything like that. I'm taking you on my journey. I was the one who was diagnosed. I'm guessing you guys were not with stage 4 colon cancer, not you guys, right? So just keeping that in mind. You know, what can I say?
She's right, but again, she has a very big and impressionable audience, and if she pulls through after all of this, which of course we hope she does, I don't think any of us are really holding out for the chance that she will, but a miracle would be nice. But I think if she does survive, that's a whole other issue of other people taking their health into their own hands instead of her doctor. And she's like, I'm not giving medical advice, and she's right. She's not. She is just telling her story, but again, people who follow her are very impressionable, and that scares me for the possibility of all these crunchy mamas being like, oh, Jessie Lee didn't need chemo, neither do I. Listen to your doctors, dude. That's just what it all comes down to for me. Just listen to your doctors. Don't put coffee up your butt. I don't know.
All right, so, and this is a great example of I wish people had any idea what they were talking about. For those of you that are trying to pleasantly watch this on Instagram, I don't know how to create a what do you call it? A moderator, but that would probably be useful too. So it's okay. Be careful with fasting. You didn't eat or drink for 9 days. Oops, hold on a second. Here we go. Eat or drink for 9 days and land in the hospital. Yeah, we have to be careful. So I've been told to make sure that I have. I pay attention to my kidneys, and that I also pay attention to my heart rate. So you should be tracking your heart rate a lot. So anyway, if you're not doing, I'm doing a lot of stuff. So vitamin C, the list is too long. I'm gonna do a YouTube series. I was like, let me just get into this. Let me not get into it, okay? So exactly, that's why I'm like, so these people that think that they have any idea what this incredible liar is talking about, understand that there's always more than one side of the story. I'll basically leave it at that. There's always another side of the story. I know the other side of the story. I have all the screenshots of the other side of the story, and you do not. not only screenshots, but I have all the information. So please be a little bit more intelligent about that, okay? Let me go ahead. I am trying to educate people on other options, correct?
Not trying to give medical advice, but she's trying to educate people on other options. That doesn't really seem to add up. Like, to me, they kind of seem like one and the same.
5, 6,
I want her slippers.
8, 9, 10, 11.
They're so
12,
cute.
13, 14. 15,
They look really
16,
comfy.
17, 18, 19, 20.
But see, this is the stuff I'm cutting out, just so you know.
24, 25.
She does this a
That's
lot.
cool. I wish you guys knew what you were talking about. Your 80-something-year-old grandma had... See, there we go. I love that. This is not true. See, wouldn't it be nice if you knew what you were talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. I know, they're getting... It's just funny. All right, so...
I'm not sure what these comments were, because I'm assuming she was just getting done making people moderators, so I guarantee all these comments got deleted. But she obviously had people in the comments who were just like, probably honestly out of just like caring about her well-being, but not just to be hateful. But here's a message I will give you if you are watching this. When Jessie Lee is live, please do not show up on her lives and leave comments like that. Even though we don't agree with what she's doing and how she's going about all this, it's really not up to us to decide, and it's not up to us to go into her comment section while she's live and be like, oh, you're gonna die if you keep doing, like, don't do that. Do not do that. When we make these videos and we do these lives about her or whatever, like, I guarantee she's not watching them. But I feel like she's too busy to sit here and watch a video that's an hour and a half long, you know? Maybe she has other people watching it for her. I don't know. But like, when she's live, like, she's reading the comments and she's seeing, like, you are putting negativity in front of her face, and quite frankly, I don't think she deserves that. Even if it's true, dude, right now, telling her that she's making the wrong decisions is not helping the situation. And quite frankly, it's just kind of mean. Let's not bombard her lives with comments like that. And you could be like, well, you're sitting here making a YouTube video about her right now, and it's like, I mean, she's not gonna watch this. This is an opinion piece in general. It's honestly, it's not for Jessie Lee. Like, if you're leaving a comment on her live while she's reading them, you're sending it hoping that she'll see it. I do also feel like it needs to be talked about sometimes, because, like, again, like I keep saying, like, I don't think that she should be so, like, open about everything she's doing to help cure herself of cancer, simply because of how large and impressionable her audience is. I think it's dangerous, and I think it's kind of irresponsible of her to do so. Consider that if we really do want her to get better and want her to thrive and beat this, it's not helping by, like, showing up on her live and just kind of, like, leaving mean comments. Like, that's not okay. So that's my PSA for the day. Don't do that, guys. She's putting things out on the internet for us to watch. Yes, like, of course we're gonna talk about it. Like, that's her entire life. She loves it when people talk about her. But let's not talk to her. Let's not reach out to her. None of us are gonna change her mind.
You do me. For sure. My skin looks airbrushed. Really? Does my skin look airbrushed? It's kind of funny. I had,
she does look
I used to have
good.
my skin being my big...
I've said before, like, multiple times, like, even recently, that I think, like, she actually doesn't, like, she doesn't look unhealthy, right? And I know a lot of you guys disagree with me because you're like, well, look at how skinny she is. And I agree, yeah, she's lost a lot of weight over the past couple years, but, like, it's kind of clear now why all of a sudden she lost all the weight she did. I do agree that, like, her body does look too skinny, but, like, yeah, I look at her skin and I'm like, her skin looks great. It is glowing. So, not that that is a reflection of her health. At the very least, we can say that her skin looks good. I can say that her skin looks good. Maybe other people don't agree with me. How you look on the outside is not necessarily indicative of how healthy you are on the inside, so.
I felt like... No, it's not even a feeling. It was my biggest insecurity. My skin, I had cystic acne all through here. One of the biggest things I did was explanting. I had an explant in 2019. It was a big difference. So, yeah, I know people don't like what I do, but anyway, so it's all good. How much coffee did I have today? None. I don't drink coffee. Never actually had a cup of coffee.
She doesn't drink coffee. She just puts it up her butt. Sorry. That doesn't do anything for you. It's just weird.
Semolina's pasta? Oh, it's pasta flour, people say. Okay, I didn't know that. So, you know, I'm not exactly the best chef.
I only know that from Neopets. Semolina was one of those items that you would get, like, a ton of them. It was like a junk item. It's always at the money tree, you know?
Block person? Thank you, Facebook. I know, we have a complete psycho on here. What can I say?
What?
Well, there's a lot of psychos on here right now, actually. Okay.
That's rude. I was just curious and I was looking up, because she, like, sells these clearance bundles that it appears to be 20 flavors of the ketones or whatever, and she's selling them for $130. What is that? Like $6.50 for one of those packets? That seems really expensive. And is one of those packets just one drink? Like, because they look big. They're kind of big packets, right? It just seems really expensive. I mean, obviously, because it's an MLM, like, of course, everything is overpriced. A full box of whatever keto cream is $110. 6 keto ups, which look like an energy drink, not a Red Bull can, like maybe like a Monster can. 6 of them for $75? What is that? Like, what? I'm sorry, like, it doesn't make sense. A gummy bear 5-pack for $80. That is ridiculous. Are you supposed to drink one of these every day? You get a 5-pack of whatever Velvet Raz is for $50. So if you drink one every day, it's $10 a day for this shit. That's $300 a month just for like that. I'm sorry, that just doesn't seem right. $500 bundle, which is what she's been selling a lot of here. Free priority shipping, free blender, free gifts. $500. This does not look like anything worth $500 at all. I don't know. I'm sorry. What a scam, dude. It's such a scam.
The crazies on Facebook are out lately. I know. We are fun. Thank you. I think it's calmed down, so you can probably have a good time of your, the rest. Oh, as soon as I say that. Why? Oh my gosh. I wish you guys knew what you were talking about, but you just don't go chasing waterfalls.
I'm so curious about what she's selling. Like, I feel like I want to call Erin. I'm gonna text her. All right, we'll see if she gets back to me.
Oh my gosh, if you guys give money to something that is fraud, shame on you. Okay, so, and putting it in my comments, oh, that's trashy.
I guarantee that what she's talking about there is that GoFundMe I mentioned earlier to help out Avi's soon-to-be ex-wife and their children. The fact that she's calling it fraud, like, I mean, listen, we can all make our own decisions. I donated $20 to it because I'm a broke bitch and that's all I could afford. But listen, like, no pressure. If you can't afford to donate, then by all means don't. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing it because Jessie Lee says it's fraud, then whatever. None of us are running the GoFundMe. It's people who know her. But like, all of the shit that they're putting this woman through, the audacity for Jessie Lee Ward to call it fraud, you stole her man. I feel like it's just another example of her like trying to just demonize this poor woman. And what I will say is that, you know, maybe it was kind of a little distasteful to post the link to that GoFundMe in her live comments, but also at the same time, like, my understanding of the situation is that she's making this woman's life a fucking living hell. So it's just so rude.
I do not have lip injections. No, I have no injections at all. People thought that I had injections in my cheeks, in my jaw, in my face, in my everything. I had lip injections. Last time I injected was over 2 years ago now. So these are my lips, peeps.
No, as someone who also has lip injections and as someone who has seen pictures of Jessie Lee before she got lip injections, she's still got something in there. Her lips still have the filler in them. They're just dissolved a bit, but like they're still there. They're very clearly still there. Those are not her lips. You know what I mean? When you see pictures of her without lip filler, like it's night and day. How about stop lying to people and saying, oh, I don't have lip fillers. Instead, say what you said first and be like, yeah, I used to have lip fillers and I haven't had them redone in over 2 years. That's more honest. But to say you don't have lip fillers, you do. I can go like this and I can still feel my lip fillers. Like, I guarantee if she did that, she'd still be able to feel something. Even like when I went to get mine redone, I was like, I think all of them like dissolved. I'm like, I need them again or whatever. They're not lasting long enough. And well, she did say the first few times don't last as long, but if you get them redone regularly, they can last even longer, which might, you know, depending on how many fillers she has had in her life, maybe that's why they're still there. But anyway, I thought that they were all gone. I'm like, you know, my lips don't look big anymore. I don't feel them anymore. But she like kind of wanted to, and then she's like, no, there's definitely still some in there. So like, even if she feels and she's like, I don't ever feel anything, like I guarantee there's still shit in there. There has to be.
I have a really hard time finding proper food in Germany, actually. So, and I mean, it's gonna sound crazy, but I'm really obsessed with my juicer.
She's out of breath. Like, she's not doing anything physical. She's just standing there and she's out of breath. And I know she talks fast, and I do have her sped up a little bit. But in general, even if she wasn't sped up, she still talks pretty fast. Like, she very clearly has a shortness of breath.
People are thinking that I'm like free balling this cancer thing, which is kind of crazy. Even if I were, which I am not.
No, she very clearly is not free balling this cancer thing. She's doing quite the opposite. Like, she's again, like I've said a million times, she's throwing the kitchen sink at it. She's just doing everything she wants to do and ignoring some of the advice that her doctors are giving her. And we know that because she literally said that her doctors recommended chemo and she is deciding not to do it. No, I don't think any of us think you're free balling it. We think you're trying everything that that you can, which is fair. Like, honestly, if I had her diagnosis, I'd probably put coffee up my butt too if I thought that it would help. But like, no, I don't think any of us think that. I can't speak for everybody, but I personally think that maybe you should have started out this whole thing listening to everything your doctor tells you to do. I know there are people who are like, you don't trust medical professionals, you should never, because they don't know anything. It's like, okay, they went to medical school for many years, more than I ever have, so I'm gonna trust their knowledge over mine.
People online seem to think that I'm just doing crazy things, but that's okay. All right, here we go. Yeah.
Here's Erin. Hello.
What up, bitch?
Yo, bitch. Okay, so quick question, because I'm watching this Jessie Lee thing that you were telling me to watch. You're on speakerphone, is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine. You're on speaker, but I'm in the car by myself, so.
Oh, well, I'm recording this, so, I'm literally filming right now. Question, because, like, I'm watching Jessie Lee pack all this shit, and I was curious, so, like, I went on her website to see, like, how much these packages were and stuff, and she's selling, like, a clearance bundle or whatever, and it's, like, $130 for 20 packs. Is one of those packs one, like, drink?
Yes, each packet is one drink.
Oh.
Yes.
My God. That's, like, unaffordable.
Yeah, there's 20 packets in that, which is the same amount as a box through the Pruvit website. There's only 20 packets in each box. It's $130 retail, but what she's selling is like a variety pack.
Right,
and
yeah.
that's why people order it from her, allegedly, and not through the site.
Right. Yeah, and that makes sense, but to me, I'm like, dude, $130? Are you serious? For 20? What does that come out to? That's like $6.50 per packet.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
It is. And you're coached to drink 1 to 2 packets a day. So
Jesus
if you
fucking
are,
Christ. Are you
yeah,
serious?
if you're drinking 2 a day, that's only going to last you 10 days.
Right. And then there's another one that, like, it looks like they're like energy drinks kind of, and it's like a pack of like 5 of or 6 of them for like $70 or some shit.
Yeah. Keto Up.
Yeah, those.
Those are the canned, carbonated, quote-unquote, instant ketosis drinks, yeah.
If she's selling, I don't remember if it was 5 or 6 of them for like 70, that's more than $10 per can.
Yeah, and if I remember right, a 12-pack, I can't remember if it's a 12-pack or a 24-pack through the Pruvit website, is like $187.
That is insane.
Yeah.
I've never looked into Pruvit's like actual products, like as far as like how much they cost, and I'm like, this can't be right. I have to call Erin. I'm like, because those packets look kind of big, and I'm like, so maybe one of those makes like, I don't know, like a jug or something, but no, it's just one drink for one of those stupid packets.
Yep, and some people will like only drink half of a packet or whatever to try and make it last, or maybe they're kind of sensitive to the caffeine, or
They have ones that are no calf, so I mean, whatever, but
yeah.
I am just like flabbergasted at how expensive that shit is. Like, I couldn't believe it. So
Yeah, you know what's really crazy is their new VIP program. I haven't done a video on it yet, but essentially you get points for purchasing. If I remember right, just from what I remember, you get a point for every dollar you purchase, but in order to cash in those points, it costs 10 times. So, like, you get $1 per point, but in order to cash in $1, like, to redeem them, it's actually $10. Does that... I know I'm wording that kind of weird, but does that make sense?
not really. I don't think it's the way you're describing it. I think it's just ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that my brain is not understanding it. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to filming, but thank you for clarifying that. I was just like, this can't be right. And apparently it is right. Like, what the fuck?
It is right. It's very expensive. And, yeah, guys, if you're listening to this, don't join an MLM.
Oh,
Okay?
thank you.
Sucks.
Thank you, Aaron Bees. All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye, friend.
Okay, bye. There we have it. All right, great, cool. Hi, Pippi, what's up? I know it seems like I shouldn't be shocked at an MLM product being so expensive, but that is so expensive and so unbelievably overpriced that I'm like, that can't be right. But it is right. And then if you're drinking 2 of those a day, are you serious? No one can afford that, dude. That is so wild. Anyway, all right, we'll keep watching. Dude, I'm probably gonna have to do this in 2 parts or something because I've been filming for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I waited to talk to the doctor. Yes, okay. Oh, I did have a call with him. Yes. Oh, we did have a call. I forgot, but I remember now. I had the call right there in my room. He FaceTimed me. I was like, wait, did I have a call with the doctor? Yes. My days are running together. Did I screenshot the call? What do you guys think? Come on, my people. Come on, my people. Do you think that I screenshot the call with the doctor yesterday? Of course I did.
screenshot a call is different from recording a call. Like, why would you screenshot that you're talking to your doctor? She must mean she's recording a call, right? Is that legal? Like, are you allowed to record, like, phone calls with a doctor? I don't know. That's sketchy. If you can't even be her doctor without her secretly recording you, like, where is the trust in that person? I would be afraid to have any conversation with her, period.
Yeah, I did. You've made me tequila shots on our first date. Well, you didn't make them, but you had a specific way, and I was like, ooh. Thank you for your orders, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very cringy for people to believe stuff with no evidence. Agreed!
Why every time I have to, like, reset my camera, so it resets every 20 minutes, so I have to press the record button again? And I'm like, oh, this will be a good time to do it, because, like, she's just talking to Avi about, like, dumb shit. And then she's like, I hate it when people believe something with no evidence. And she's like, oh, agreed. I'm sorry. She's always talking about her religious views, among other things, but I'm like, I'm sorry, not to get all like preachy or whatever, or anti-preachy, if you will. There is no actual tangible evidence for the existence of a God, and she's always talking about God and Jesus and stuff. Quite frankly, like, there isn't even like verified evidence that Jesus existed, you know? Yeah, there were tons of books written about him, but there's also books written about fucking Harry Potter, you know? Like, he didn't exist. Or did he? Is Hogwarts a real place? We'll never know. Anyway, there's that, but then also she calls us all out for being liars for calling her out for the Columbia shit, and she's just like, no, you all are liars, you have no evidence. And it's like, we have your own words. Those words came out of your mouth, Jessie Lee. And she's like, but were you there? No, but we know what you said, so you're either lying or you really did these things, and now you're lying to cover up the fact that you did these things. You know, it's just it's so hypocritical.
Cringy. I like that, because they're like, ew, cringe. Ew, this is so twisted. This is, oh.
Was that a jab at DC? Because DC's always saying things are twisty. Maybe she does watch all these videos about her. Quite frankly, in my opinion, it is a little bit cringy to be shoving coffee up your butthole, but that's just me.
You cannot be on our team to be in the accelerator. So if you are not in business with me, you can join the Boss the Accelerator. Yeah. Don't support fraud. Don't recommend it. Don't recommend doing that. Don't recommend it. 0 out of 10. 0 out of 10. Don't recommend.
She's literally saying, do not donate to help out my boyfriend's ex-wife. Not even ex. They're in the middle of getting divorced. He literally started seeing Jessie Lee as he was still, like, to her knowledge, happily married to her. Oh, but now it's fraud. Don't support that. Don't help the woman that my boyfriend is fucking over. Don't support her children. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors and all that, but the way that Jessie Lee talks about this woman is just heartbreaking. The way that she's trying to ruin her life and then, you know, by extension, ruin the kids' lives, in my opinion. I think it's just so fucked up. And she's like, it's fraud. Are you serious? It's not fraud. It's GoFundMe.
If you were to purchase all 20 flavors of a clearance bundle on the website, it would be over $2,000. So $130 box times 20. Times
yep,
20.
That seems
do the
about
math,
right.
Obviously, this allows you to do it obviously at a much smaller cost. Would the silver training be for anyone looking for life coaching or just MLM? It's definitely not MLM training at all. That's the least at all that any of them have any kind of network marketing training.
Which is wild, because from what I've seen, most of the people who take her accelerator courses are people in MLMs. But also, like, she built her business, her livelihood on MLMs, so how can she be like, oh yeah, I'm a marketer and I'm an expert, I'm a professional at training people to be better at jobs that aren't MLMs? It's like, you have no experience. You've been in an MLM since you were in your early 20s, I'm pretty sure. Something like that anyway. And it's like, what experience do you have to sell yourself in this way as a business trainer for everyone except for network marketers? That makes no sense. What are you talking about? Network marketers take her courses all the time. I don't know the statistics to it or how many people actually sign up and take these courses, but it sounds to me like it makes up a big part of her clientele.
These are 6 different flavors. It's basically like Red Bull, but with no nasty ingredients and no crash or anything.
Remember what Aaron said. One of those is like over $10 for one of those cans. Ridiculous. Okay, so I got through an hour, almost on the dot, of this live, and there's still another hour and 30 minutes left. So here's what we're gonna do, because I've been filming for about 3 hours now at this point. Cutting a lot of it out, obviously, because she does a lot of talk and promotion of these ketones products and stuff, and we don't need to hear that. And a lot of it is very repetitive, so I cut probably more than half of that hour that we watched out. So what I will do is I will watch through the rest of this and see if there's anything else I need you guys to see that I think is really interesting. There's way more where all this came from, so if I feel like I need to share the rest of this with you, I will make a part 2. If not, I won't. But she did definitely give us some interesting updates, say some pretty unusual things about hospitals and babies and stem cells and things. So yeah, this is where Jessie Lee's at these days, guys. And it had been so long that I had talked about her. It was time to cover her again. So yeah, I mean, I will keep you updated on all the important parts of the Jessie Lee saga, if you will. So many things going on with her. Some of it's very sad, some of it is obnoxious, you know, classic Jessie Lee. So anyway, time to thank my patrons and my members, guys. The list of people I'm about to name off are my financial supporters. They get access to our private Discord server. We have a postcard club. Sometimes they get early access to videos. They'll probably get early access to this video, and sometimes even more than that. So if any of that sounds good to you, you can go to patreon.com/Savannah Marie, or you can click the join button beneath this video to join my YouTube memberships. Whatever works for you works fine for me. You get a Pop-Tart face next to your little icon if you join on YouTube, but if you're going to join on a higher tier where I have to send you postcards and stuff in the mail, it's easier for me if you join Patreon. If not, if you decide you still want to join YouTube, please send me an email or an Instagram DM or something like that so that I can have your address so I can mail you things. Patreon just makes it more streamlined and easier on my end, but we can work with it either way. Doesn't matter to me, just your support in general means the world to me, and this is how I'm really able to continue to do this full time. So if any of that sounds good to you, I already told you all that. The biggest thank you in the whole wide world goes to Carol Campbell, Mitchie84, Ari, Martine Hubert, Amy Louise, Mira SIK, LaSalle Story, Laura Jensen, Mother Dragon 82, Han Bjornson, Baby Pink Pearl, Fallon Lowry, Hannah, Miss Blue, Carrie K, Love to Be Evil, The Best Elephant, Jessica Billhart, Jess Kronfeld, Emion, Auntie Lou, Hula Chowdown, Jacqueline Nutton, Janelle Pratt, Elizabeth Wyatt, Kisessi Drew, Nitty Dragon, Leanne, Sheila Tapia, Amy Dolinak, Caroline Reed, Charlotte Treese, Daniel Urena, Maddie Darley, Ray, Shayna, Tuesday the 13th, Turd Ferguson, and to the rest of my financial supporters, thank you so much for being here and for being you. And even if you're not a financial supporter, thank you for making it to the end of this video, because YouTube loves watch time, and that's probably the one thing that gets my videos sent out to more people, is that you are just here and you are you and you exist as yourself. Thank you so much. Keep making waves, babes. I'll smell you all later. Mommy tsunami out.